Pat. It's Pat on brands. Watch how you branded, man. A pat on the back is a pat from the man. Better be branded, man. Pat from the pat is a pat on the...
Hello, everybody. Welcome to yet another exciting episode of the Pat on Brands podcast with me, Pat Mahlangu. Today, we have our very first international guest. Coming all the way from the Republic of Cape Town.
There we go.
Brownwyn Pretorius.
Yes, Brownwyn Pretorius. Very nice.
Pretorius
yes,
or Pretorius?
As an English girl, Pretorius. But very nice to be here today, Pat.
Thank you so much for honoring our invite. Flying for 2 hours and to be here with us.
To be your first international guest, I was prepared to do that for you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. For those that do not know, Brownwyn, who's Brownwyn Pretorius? You did say you've got some French blood and some colored blood. Mm-hmm. So, who is Brownwyn for those that do not know? Let's take it back.
Let's take it all the way back.
Yes.
Okay. Brownwyn Pretorius, previously Bronwyn Lafleur. So, yes, French surname, means the flower.
Okay.
Very much a Cape-colored girl. Grew up in the hood of the Cape Flats.
Sure.
In Cape Town.
So you grew up in Cape Flats?
Yeah. Grew up in so Xtra River forms part of the Cape Flats in Cape Town, definitely.
Sure.
So very much a coloured community. I loved living there though. We didn't know what was going on. So it was very much a community. We all kept together. It was lots of fun playing in the streets, we were chatting the other day around the fact that my husband and I, the fact that we would go out in the morning during school holidays and we knew we needed to get back when the lights were on.
Sure.
That was the indication, okay, you need to go back home. These days, our kids don't have those kinds of opportunities. But Brownwyn Pretorius...
They're playing indoors.
Playing indoors, yes. Our kids are definitely playing indoors these days.
Sure.
Stayed in East River, grew up in East River on the Cape Flats. I initially went and studied law at UWC. I studied there for just over a year and realized it wasn't for me.
Okay.
And so my father, coming from very, very humble beginnings, was like, I'm very happy for you, but now you need to go and work and study because I'm not paying for your university fees anymore. And I was like, well, how could you do this to me? As a 19-year-old girl. But then I started working and I started studying at night. Yeah. Eventually finishing my national diploma in marketing.
But I must say, though, it takes a lot of discipline to study and work at the same time.
100%.
At that young age. I mean, I always, I have profound respect for people that their first qualification, they got it whilst working full-time. It's really remarkable.
I was working completely full-time. And I think that the thing that drove me was the fact that my father and my parents came from nothing, So as a person of color growing up in an environment where now I have opportunities that he didn't have, I had no excuse. I had to be successful. I had to make a success of myself. And education is the key to opportunities, right?
Absolutely.
I mean Nelson Mandela said that. Oprah said that.
Absolutely. And I think as of late, people see it. They say, oh, you can be anything, with the internet. You can, But education really is an equalizer. I always say to people that, the first time I got to sort of experience proper education and having all sort of the resources that you need to succeed academically was when I was in uni.
Exactly.
Because I went to a proper rural school. We had pit toilets and everything else,
Yeah.
And when I came to university, that's when I started to experience. And also, you get to be in the same class with white, colored, Indian,
100%.
Kids,
100%,
and you all are sort of, competing for the same opportunities.
And in that instance, your background isn't the factor.
Absolutely.
It's how much you're willing to sacrifice and study and work hard to be able to get ahead, So
100%.
I agree with you on the equalizer completely.
Yeah.
What I was lucky with was the fact that my dad, even with a standard 6, now they call it grade, so grade 8, education, was able to work really, really hard to send me to a really good school, a Renish Girls School in Cape Town, in Stellenbosch. And that gave me networks. So the networks there as well was like the friends I had. I mean, rugby player daughters.
With the billionaires of Stellenbosch.
I can't say I'm friends with the billionaires of Stellenbosch, but definitely good people with good connections and people that come from different environments to what I came from, to also open up my perspective around things are possible for me. I'm able to live a certain life that maybe my family wasn't living at the time, you know?
If I may double click on that.
Double click.
Like, what was your biggest sort of shock or culture shock? I mean, you say you're coming from the Cape Flats, sort of an impoverished area, and now you're going to a school with these rich people's kids. What was like that thing that you're like, people actually live like this?
I told this exact story when I had a friend of mine from high school over at my house on Sunday. And my husband met her for the first time, and I met her husband for the first time, and we were chatting about high school. And I was saying that there was a rugby player's daughter that was in my class. And I came back from September school holidays, and we were chatting. I was like, oh my word, friend, what did you do for the school holidays? And she was like, oh no, we just went to Italy. And they're like, what did you do? I was like, played in the streets. You know, so they already, I was like, what? People live like this? You know, like
you can just go on holiday in Italy.
For 7 to 10 days, you can go on holiday in Italy, your whole family, you know? So that was where I think my complete perspective around how people live in this world opened my eyes up to what other opportunities were there for me.
Interesting. So now you're studying, you graduate, first job?
So worked and studied, qualified in marketing, continued studying project management, still working and studying. My first real job, I'm going to say, was working at Shoprite Group of Companies.
Wow.
No better place to start your marketing career than the biggest retailer in Africa, under the helm of and the leadership of Neil Schroeder, who is obviously the chief strategy officer at Shoprite, who launched Shoprite X, 6060, all of these great brands that you have today. And started there as a marketing campaign manager. First, we were called marketing coordinators, and then our titles changed to marketing campaign managers. And we thought we were very fancy. We were managers, not managing any people, but managing campaigns. Stayed there for 11 years. So got 4 promotions. So campaign manager, assistant brand manager, national brand manager, complementary brands, which included liquor, alcohol, pharmaceuticals, CompuTickets. I'm thinking USave, big brands, and then eventually national Shoprite brand manager, and then marketing manager, head of marketing for Shoprite. Was on one of the biggest teams with regards to launching Shoprite X or Checkers Xtra Savings at the time, which is the biggest rewards program. Wow.
So would you say that was your career highlight? What was your career highlight at Shoprite?
I think my career highlight at Shoprite was when I was responsible for groups of people in the complementary business. So Liquor Shop, I was one of the first brand managers for Liquor Shop.
Wow.
And so Liquor Shop Shoprite and Liquor Shop Checkers, being able to implement new campaigns like World Whiskey Day, which didn't exist before.
Wow.
I implemented that with my team.
Sure.
International Beer Day, those kinds of things. The first World Whiskey Festival that we had as a campaign there. Wow. So that was really great. But a highlight for me was working.
So were you only responsible for that in South Africa or for the rest of the continent?
No, the rest of the continent as well. So Africa as well, into Africa.
Did you get to travel?
Got to travel a bit, yeah. We low-cost retailer at Shoprite, right? So they weren't big on traveling all the time unless it was complete local travel.
Oh, yeah? Or unless it's completely necessary.
Yes, completely necessary. And I respect that as a brand. You know, they live the ethos of the brand. Low-cost retailer, if you're working there as well, we're not going to give you the fanciest kind of travel. You're not traveling business class. You're definitely traveling economy, and you're staying, if you're coming into Joburg, you're staying at the business townhouse. You're not staying in a fancy hotel, you know. So not a lot of travel, a lot of local travel. But that was really exciting. Running Liquor Shop was phenomenal.
Is it true that Nigeria bought more champagne bottles than South Africa? within the ShopRite group?
I can't speak on that now, but you would have found some stat in the analyst presentations many, many years ago.
Yeah.
There's definitely a big champagne drinker country in Africa.
Oh,
Yeah, for sure.
Wow. So now ShopRite, 11 years.
Yes.
11 glorious years. Then you move.
Then I moved to a fintech. I moved to Mukuru, which is an international remittance company. And then I learned about things completely unbeknownst to me. Foreign nationals who move from country to country to make a life better for themselves and their families back
And
home.
send money back home.
And send money back home.
Sure.
So millions and millions of clients that they had, very, very big. And it was the empathy part of me that I think I learned a lot when it came to working at Mukuru. Understanding that the struggles that these customers actually go through, and that it became my job to make things easier for them, to communicate to them in languages they understand. A lot of them not very literate, so they're not really able to read. So how do you communicate to them, you know? So definitely a big learning curve for me, but I think probably one of the best brands that I've worked for. And
Really?
And
Why would you say that?
Because working for a brand that still has a combination of founders, right, with shareholders, you learn from the founders because why they started the brand.
But wasn't it like that at ShopRite? I mean, you said
sure.
when we were talking offline that Wachi Person was just down the corridor from where
his
you're
office
sitting.
was down the corridor from mine, for sure. But that's a massive organization, right? That was over 100,000 employees. Now you're talking about Mukuru that had 3,000 employees, and you deal with the founders on a weekly basis. You know, you sit in the shareholders meeting.
Sure.
I was an exec in that organization. So as a 30-year-old or 32-year-old exec in that organization. Yeah. So very, very privileged, but a 32-year-old exec in an organization like that, a lot of responsibility. And founders want things now. Right?
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Even
the shareholders want their returns now if they can.
100%. But they see more the long term, but the founders want things now.
Got you.
And the reason why Mukuru stands out as a fantastic brand that I worked for was great autonomy. And when I was launching the UK remittances, which was how you can send money back and forth between UK. It'd been around for forever, but we needed to invest more in the UK market. One of the things that myself and my team put forward to the shareholders and the founders was, let's sponsor an English Premier League team.
Wow.
Took a few months, got it over the line.
Sure.
And I'm very proud to say that...
It means you had a lot of money. You could afford paying in pounds, sponsorship in pounds.
We were very smart with our negotiation, let's put it that way. Very, very smart with our negotiation. And so Crystal Palace, Mukuru sponsored Crystal Palace, sleeve sponsor. So Mukuru was there. Created ads with the likes of Wilfred Zaha. I got to meet the likes of Wilfred Zaha, shoot ads with Schloop, AU, really, really phenomenal English Premier League players. Yeah. And that ultimately, with a combination of team effort, really, really great strategizing, great, like just getting to the grunt of things and working really, really hard, put the brand on the map, you know? And injected some magic into Mukuru, to the point where people to this day are like, oh, Mukuru, there's Mukuru for that, because of the English Premier League sponsorship that took place a few years ago. Yeah.
Then you go to Capitec, and now you decide to give everybody black cards.
Black cards for sure. Now the marketing director at Capitec is a phenomenal guy. He and I worked together at ShopRite. So for many years we had conversations about when am I going to move over to Capitec? When am I going to come over to Capitec? He's a really great guy. And I was like, I'm going to work with you someday, you know? And the fact that we worked together in ShopRite, we knew what each other's skills were. He knew where my skills were. And I started as the group head of brand and communications at Capitec. Sure. I was there for only a year. But it was a phenomenal year. Again, working.
So you didn't like working with him anymore?
No, not at all. Not at all. He's a great guy. Like I'm still in touch. I'm still in touch with him now.
Again.
Exactly. So I think that working at ShopRite for 11 years, working at Mukuru for 4 years, and then going into working at Capitec, working in banking is completely different, right? Sure. It's a very different environment. Fantastic environment. Again, very, very fast paced. Make quick decisions. A lot of responsibility. Great team. great leadership team as well. The ethos of the brand Capitec, nobody can deny. Innovation, right?
Got you.
It's all about being against the
norm.
The norm, exactly.
Not doing against the grain.
100%. Not doing anything ordinary. That's what Capitec stands for. So working with a brand like that was also able to do really, really great things, even though in only a very short amount of time. But unfortunately, it was short-lived. And then this opportunity at Ackermans came about, and it was one that
we'll spend some time on that one, but I'm curious about because, how I actually got sort of properly exposed to you and the type of work that you've worked on is through, the delivery speed guy, Godi, who's now actually gonna be on the ad with Capitec business. Tell me about the thinking behind that. I'm sure he'll be chuffed to know that we are talking about him on a podcast.
He is a fantastic guy. So it came about, we were speaking about how we're going to launch Capitec Business, right? Capitec Business is not just, and I feel like I work at Capitec now again. Speaking about,
But the good thing is that you're not working for a competitor. So
no, I'm definitely not working for a competitor. But I have only good things to say about Capitec. Capitec Business, planning the launch, and Capitec Business is democratizing business banking for South Africans.
Just like how they did with consumer
100%.
banking.
The consumer and retail banking was exactly the same thinking taken into business banking. It was about the fact that you don't have to be a certain kind of person to get decent quality business banking services, right? And then I sat with the agency and I was like, okay, guys, we need authentic stories, right? Authentic stories connect with South Africans.
Absolutely.
And also the fact that we have a hustle culture and a hustle economy in South Africa. Pretty much every second, third, fourth person has a side hustle. So understands the struggles behind it. So how about using an actual business that is not in infancy, but has done really, really well to create something that is again aligned with the vision and mission and the ethos of Capitec, which is going against the grain, innovating in places where other brands didn't innovate. And that's how I got onto Delivery Speed. I'd been following Godi on LinkedIn.
I know he's an avid LinkedIn user.
I love LinkedIn. I'm on my tombstone will be #LinkedIn when I die. But I've been following him for years, even before I joined Capitec, and I was like, this guy, his story, something special about him. And I remember being on set in Joburg with my agency at the time and with Francois, who's the director. And I said, we need to contact Delivery Speed. And I WhatsApped on their WhatsApp line that I saw on LinkedIn. They got back to me almost immediately. And I think within a few weeks, it was conversations and then how are we going to get this over the line, back and forth over a few months. And then unfortunately, I'd obviously left. But it got over the line, I think, earlier this year. And he popped me a message and he told me that things were finalized. And he thanked me. But it wasn't about me. It was his story was going to be told by some brand at some point. It was just a matter of time. And luckily, as a team at Capitec, we had the foresight to be able to bring him on board. But brilliant guy, brilliant business, brilliant brand.
Maybe just from, I'd say maybe a personal sort of, at a personal level, because like you said, there's real stories and whatnot. And the other option that you could have gone with, it would have been one of a fictitious sort of character. Remember Vuyo? Vuyo is a big dreamer. But instead you went for a real story, a real human being, a real business that's existing. Why was it important for you to go that route, because it could have easily created a fictitious character, told a fictitious story, and flight it. But now you went for a real human being with a real story, and I think his mother is also on the ad.
His mother's also in the ad from what I'm seeing,
Why was it important for you as a head of marketing at the time?
So back in the day when I was working in let's say at Shoprite, right? The kind of marketing we did in the mid-2000s was very much, the focus was reach and consistency. right?
Okay.
Reach and consistency, reach and
RNC.
consistency. Yeah, you're gonna be out there all the time. Obviously, the offering at Shoprite was lowest prices you can trust always.
Yes.
So that was the backing of what the business does. And then from a marketing point of view, it was we need to be out there all the time. So from a share of voice point of view, nobody could beat the likes of Shoprite. Today, the day and age that we live in today, authenticity plays a very, very, very big part of how we do marketing and what actually translates with today's consumer. Our consumer today saturated in terms of the amount of marketing they see.
Absolutely.
So what's going to stand out? Why try and replicate a story with a persona when you can tell a real story coming from a real individual whose story connects with so many others?
Yeah.
Authenticity, I think, trumps any other kind of marketing tactic that you're going to use. And his story is so authentic, and really, even if you're not coming from Hammanskraal, where he comes from, and you're coming from a different environment, the struggles that he went through, I think translates and resonates with so many, and it just makes it more personal, and it breaks through when you're telling a story from the first person, the actual business person that started from nothing.
So it does cut through the clutter.
Yeah.
So now you at Ackermans, you CMO, you've got the last number of titles in marketing.
You know.
How has it been? I know you fairly new-ish there. How are things going? And what interesting stuff we can, sort of anticipate?
It's been fantastic.
Yeah.
One of the reasons that I joined Ackermans is because I tend to gravitate.
Free clothes for your kids. I'm kidding.
Maybe. No, I'm joking. I am an Ackermans shopper. I have been even before joining Ackermans. But one of the reasons I joined the brand is because I tend to gravitate towards brands that are South African household names.
Got you.
Right? Brands that have they connect with the South African audience beyond just the product. And Ackermans is one of them. They've been around for over 100 years. It's a household name.
Yeah.
There's almost every South African can speak to the fact that they grew up and at some point in their life,
absolutely,
there was something from Ackermans.
Exactly.
So why not be a part of a brand like that?
Yeah.
It's got so much legacy, so much positive legacy. And I wanted to be a part of a brand like this,
Awesome.
And it doesn't hurt that I really love fashion, and it's an apparel.
Look at you. Look how stylish you.
I try. It's an apparel retailer, and what I was lucky when I came in, we're a bunch of new executives that are on the executive committee, and all coming in with fresh perspectives, fresh eyes, and we're doing some pretty cool things, which if you've been following on my LinkedIn or the brand's LinkedIn, you'd notice that our advertising, the sound, the look, the tone has changed somewhat. And we've got some very amazing things lined up that's launching actually in the next few weeks with potentially a celebrity or two.
Okay. Maybe a pet. Who knows?
Maybe a pet. The face of Ackermans.
Looking at obviously your career history and journey and the types of brands that you worked for, I think the common thread is that you've worked for brands, number one, with greater impact, two, for the people, like masses, and a lot of brand builders or a lot of marketers sort of struggle, in terms of connecting with, the consumer at that very level. So obviously, which then this brings me to my burning question to you, in terms of how do you really build a brand that connects with customers, particularly at a large scale? Because if you look at Shoprite, we're talking masses, big numbers. You look at Mukuru, again, it's people who are on the ground realize. Look at Capitec Bank. Capitec really, since they started, they changed banking and they made banking accessible for the masses. And of course, again, now where you are, it's a brand for the people. So what is that thing that brand builders, marketers need to just connect with South African consumers?
So firstly, we need to not take our own biases into the room. because we have a tendency as marketers, we from time to time market from our own perspective, right? There was something beautiful that was created at one of the previous brands that I worked at, where we created this almost vision or mission for the marketing department, which was, it's our responsibility to market the client or the customer to the brand and the brand to the customer. So if you understand who your customer is, then it's easy to understand what their pain points are, what their journey is, what connects them. And also understanding that your customer is not linear, right? So yes, you might have a brand tone as an example, but your customer might have a certain way that they are 60% of the time, but they also find time to be humorous. They also find time to be a little bit edgy. They also find time to be quirky, or they find time to be silent. So it's about understanding those moments in your customer's day or week or journey or whatever time period you're talking about.
So you don't need to be monotonous as a brand.
Exactly. You don't need to be monotonous, because in the saturated market that you're in today, that we're in today, where as consumers, you're being shown and thrown with advertising everywhere, right? They're on social media, there's some sponsored ad. They're on the radio, there's some ad. They're on if they're even on TV, they're driving, they're streaming even these days, and it's like you can't fast forward, and unless you have YouTube Premium, there are ads everywhere.
I mean, I saw even DSTV, the online version, also come across some ads. I was like, damn.
Exactly. And some of them you can't even fast forward.
Absolutely.
So if they're being shoved advertising all the time, make sure that the advertising that you're showing them relates to them and they resonate with. Or adapt a strategy that makes you stand out. So I always have a strategy of impact. So yes, there's reach and frequency and all those kinds of metrics.
Yes, and consistency.
And consistency, right? But there's also a metric of impact. So how does your brand stand out amongst the rest? Is that one 20-second radio ad as impactful as you can make it, or does it sound like wallpaper? And I think some brands have done it really, really well these days. I won't give them kudos because that's giving them airtime.
Free airtime.
I don't want to do that. But I mean, some brands have done that.
Brands. You can you can share examples. You can name them, even though they don't pay us. But one day maybe they will.
Maybe one day they will.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I mean, we want someone who's watching this thing, to learn something, to be a better marketer. After you watch this episode, you must be a better marketer. So let's give them as much information, as much examples. Let's be generous.
Okay, you've convinced me, Pat. But I think that Checkers 60 is doing a phenomenal job right now. I think Pineapple Insurance is doing a really good job right now. I think that what they're doing is so on the one hand, the one brand is connecting with South Africans from an authentic standpoint, using humor to align with that in order to stand out. The other brand is just doing some really interesting and cool tactics, things that people are not used to from a South African context, that have maybe been done in the UK or from an international context, but not in South Africa. And so kudos to those brands. They're doing really, really well to stand out in an environment and in a South African landscape right now where it's so cluttered.
Got you. Interesting. I mean, especially on that point on the brand tone, interestingly, just last week we were pitching on the Lerato agency side to a potential client, and they were so concerned about, how their brand sound now, and that they can't switch things up because apparently it's gonna shock, the consumer, but yet at the same time, part of the brief was that we want impact. We want talkability. But how are you going to create talkability without doing things that are out of the ordinary? Because I'm of the view that you cannot build a great brand by doing the mundane, basic stuff. The buy one, get one free. I mean, those days are over. So I'm glad that you mentioned the fact that even though you are a serious brand, you can still switch things up along
And the thing about Ackermans as an example, sure, we're serious about creating value for South Africans, right? We're a value retailer. However, the core of what we do, so we're South Africa's #1 kids retailer. Kids are unexpected. What kids do, as a mom, you can't
I know
dictate.
with my daughter.
You can't dictate what the kid is going to do from 1 hour to the next. So there's humor in that. There's joy in that. There are things from a tonal point of view that you can tap into that don't seem so far removed because you're dealing with kids. I mean, recently, I'm not sure if you would have seen our Ackerlympics as an example. So we did a play on the Olympics and we took kids.
Yeah.
And it was inspired by an international brand that we saw that did something in 2017. And we took kids and we had this commentator who was commentating a race and then commentating a long jump. But these are kids.
Got you.
So the humor is behind the fact that they're supposed to be running forward and racing each other, but they're running in 500 different directions, you know? They're supposed
I mean, the kids are like that.
Exactly.
You say go that direction, they'll say what
100%.
I'm going to go my way.
Exactly. They're supposed to be doing long jump, but then they're taking their spade and they're creating a play date with a friend as if it's a beach day.
Sure.
You know, those kinds of things. And these are the kinds of things that are natural. It's the natural environment for a kid, and it's the natural environment for a parent to be able to connect with a brand that gets what goes on when you are a mom, when you are a parent, and you have kids. So there's humor in that. And the play on that was more around how our clothes, the quality of our clothes can withstand the jumping, the play, the kicking, all of those kinds of things. But we were tapping into something relevant. So your question around how do brands stand out and how do you build brand?
Yeah.
There are many ways to do that. Understanding your customer, obviously, understanding who they are, understanding their journey, but also the relevance. Today, it's all about being relevant.
Relevance.
All about being relevant. And relevance means that there's Emily in Paris season 4 or season 3 on Netflix right now. That's what people are thinking about and watching. Can your fashion do something in that space to create that kind of environment? This is speaking from an apparel retailer now.
Yeah.
There was
but,
the
You
Olympics.
guys, don't you guys have like long lead times in terms of?
We do.
But how do you maintain? Because someone can say, yeah, but I mean, it takes us 6 months to get new stock, for example. How can we switch things up quickly?
You need to be able to understand that anything is possible. So in my department, there's no such thing. There's no such thing as it's impossible.
Wow.
And from a business point of view, we have a CEO that also believes in that. Anything is possible. And it sounds cliche, anything is possible if you put your mind to it. But this Ackerlympics thing, as an example, playing on the Olympics, my agency presented it to me the Thursday before a week before the Olympics was supposed to end.
Yeah.
So the Thursday, and they were presenting it to me for the following year. I said, no, my friend.
We're doing it now.
We're doing it next week.
Oh.
So in 4 days,
a
full-on production, with cast, with crew, with everything. It was produced, it was edited, and it was published.
Hectic.
So anybody that says that they have long lead times, sure, every retailer has long lead times. I get that. But there's no reason to not be relevant. There's no reason to bring a little bit of joy to the South African consumer at the right time. And that's how I like to run my department. And that's how I like to be a part of brands that are also open to newness and different thinking and innovation in that space.
So now, obviously, I mean, within a South African context, you know, there's obviously big talks around, you know, employment and localization. So as a brand, Ackermans, are you guys doing things differently in that space to make sure that more localization, especially, you know, the textile industry? Are you guys playing in that space yet? Or?
We definitely have a big percentage of our merchandise that is manufactured locally.
Nice.
From a Pepcore group, that is mandate for us to invest in local manufacturers, local suppliers. So that's definitely a big part of our strategy as a brand. Local is important to us, for sure.
Amazing. So I want you to look into that camera.
Ooh, okay.
And give a message to your peers.
Ooh, which peers now? Which peers?
Your peers, your fellow CMOs.
Okay.
You know, in terms of the industry, in terms of how they can do better marketing, if any, you know.
So
put out a challenge to you.
I don't think I need to be challenging my fellow CMOs. I think The South African CMOs are of the top CMOs in the
Gotcha.
world globally. So now I'm looking at you and then I'm looking at the camera.
Yeah.
But what I want to say is I think kudos to all the CMOs in South Africa. You're doing a phenomenal job. You're challenging me on a daily basis to be better and giving me sleepless nights. So maybe do less of a good job. So I don't have so many sleepless nights.
Yeah.
But there's no challenge. I just think that we could come together more to create this sense of community, share ideas, share experiences to be able to collectively create an even more exciting and epic CMO community in South Africa.
Awesome stuff. Then now talk to the young marketer
Ooh.
who's just graduated out of university or out of college, and they want to enter into the space, and they want to be a CMO one day. What are some of the things that they can do to get to that level? And also maybe also an advice to your younger self when you were still studying and working at the same time, but there's things that you know now that you wish you knew then.
I think what I know now is the fact that it's not a race, right? It's a marathon. I was a 32-year-old executive. I got 4 promotions at Shoprite. I was chasing.
Yeah.
And it's fine. It's okay to adopt that.
Gotcha.
However, also prioritize yourself and what makes you happy. And sometimes the journey might take you slightly longer. But if that means that maybe you're going to be traveling for slightly longer and investing more in yourself and your spouse and your relationship, then that's also okay.
I used to have an intern here, and she used to say, because sometimes, when we're working on big projects and we are pressed for time, like, for example, I can only imagine what your agency went through.
Yeah, they cried.
love
them.
I can imagine, the amount of stress and the amount of hours they had to put in. And I remember this one time I asked them to come on a Sunday.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And we were working on this project. And I remember this one say, "Hey, Sundays are for lovers."
Whoa! That's hilarious.
Saying Sundays are for lovers. So, yeah, when you say people maybe spend more time with their spouses, she would love that idea.
So I think in the context of if you're prioritizing your career, then Sundays are going to be part of the course.
Got you.
But if you feel like right now your career is not going to be something that you want to focus on for the next 6 months or a year, that's also okay. But if you're prioritizing career, understand that in marketing, it's not airy-flary. It's not sunshine and roses all the time. It's not what the rest of the business in the world thinks that it's pretty pictures.
Gotcha.
We don't only do pretty pictures. Can we do pretty pictures? We can do amazing pictures, but we do more than pretty pictures. So if you're prioritizing your career, understand that with marketing, so as a young marketer or trying to get into the industry, there's hustle. You hustle. So people are always like, how did you achieve what you've achieved? I've been blessed, obviously, with opportunity, but I was prepared for that opportunity because I put my hand up for every opportunity. Everything, even the ones that I didn't know whether I could do it.
Sure.
Because of the fact that I knew that experience would trump anybody else in the room. Relationships would trump anybody else in the room. So if somebody walked into my department when I was a junior, whether it be from the buying team or the HR team or any team, and they said, "Oh, we need somebody to help with this," pick me. I was the pick me girl.
So you always put your hand up.
Always put my hand up. So in the context of you either going to prioritize your career and your working environment, and you want to achieve, and that's your hustle, and that's great. Understand that it takes a lot of hard work. That the Sundays are going to come. The late nights are going to come.
Lover.
No, you're going to have to do that the following Sunday. But
yeah.
there are going to be moments where you're going to have to sacrifice. But there's going to be big reward.
Got you.
But if you want to take time to find yourself, you want to take time to focus on your family, then that's also okay. Just understand that it's going to be very difficult to do both when you're that young.
And do both well. I guess.
Do both well. Something's got to give. So at some point, you're going to have times where you're sacrificing in the one end and you're not on the other end. But it's going to be difficult to do both things excellently at the same time.
Sure. There's always a trade-off,
Always.
as they say.
Always.
Cool. So now it's time for the infamous Pattern Brands quiz.
Oh, there's a quiz.
Let's test your brand.
Oh,
knowledge.
goodness. I'm going to suck at this.
I mean, if you are on the pulse, as is the
okay.
positioning of Pattern Brands with brands,
Uh-huh.
then you should do fine.
Okay.
You should be fine. Let's see.
Is it like 30 seconds? Are you going to?
No, we're not timing
3
you.
words.
We're not timing you for this one. But yeah, let's see how well you do.
Okay.
Starting question number 1.
Oh.
Which biscuit brand, or is a snack brand biscuit, recently partnered up with Coca-Cola to come up with their, interestingly, the biscuit that's got a Coke, is it Coke? Yeah, Coke Zero, flavor, and the Coke with that biscuit flavor. So it's a very...
I have no idea, but I'm going to guess. Is it Oreo? No.
You get a point! How
It
did
is
you
Oreo.
know?
Because I'm guessing, because my first thought was,
Did you see it?
no, I didn't.
Wow.
So I'm clicking on the
Interesting, yeah.
pulse without being on the pulse.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
if I'm thinking about the kind of brand where they would do a quirky partnership with that, the biscuit brands that I had in mind initially, and then you said Coke Zero, I was like, has to be Oreo.
Wow.
I didn't see it. I'm going to go look it up now.
Yeah, no, actually, it's
That's
hitting,
very interesting.
yeah, interesting.
Very cool.
It's hitting our shelves soon. Okay, cool. Question number 2.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, let's see if you're on the pulse. Cecil.
Ooh, no, I'm not on the pulse. Petroleum.
Yes, Cecil actually recently launched an ad
Yeah,
for the Cecil Rewards.
yeah.
I mean, I think it was their first TVC in 4 years,
Okay.
since 2019.
Uh-huh.
And this ad features a hip-hop artist.
Hip-hop artist, South African
A
hip-hop
South
artist.
African hip-hop artist.
Is it like local?
Local. It doesn't get any more local than
Youngster.
that. Let me give you options.
Okay, give me options. So not youngster CPT.
Oh, you like your browser from the cup.
You can see where I come. You can see where I come from.
Oh, so yeah. Oh, so you follow hip hop? Are you a hip hop?
a little bit.
Okay, cool. It's not. Yeah. Okay, let me give you the
Youngster?
options.
Okay, give me the options.
Let me give you the options.
Okay.
So that now I'm gonna end up giving you
Okay, give me the 3 options.
3 options.
Uh-huh.
Is it Casper Nyovest?
Uh-huh.
Is it Nasty C
Oh,
or Big Zulu?
nasty C.
Are you sure?
The reason I'm saying nasty C because we partnered with him at Capitec. So and he's very popular. I mean, all 3 are big. I don't think it's Casper. So it's between Nasty C and
Big Zulu.
Big Zulu.
And you are hamstrung.
I'm as hamstrung as I can be right now.
Nasty C. Ooh, that's a nasty answer. No, you get a slap.
Oh,
It's
no.
Big Zulu.
Oh, okay. I was 50-50 there.
Inkabi.
Okay.
Inkabi,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah. If I said KZN, but also you're going to get confused because if I said he comes from KZN, Nasty C also comes from KZN.
Exactly.
He's a Devonite. Okay, cool. Let's look at question number 3.
How many of these questions are there?
No, it's 5 questions. It's 5 questions.
Yeah.
And
You should have given me the questions beforehand.
And it would be boring. Question number 3.
Yeah.
One of our projects here is the Top 16 Youth-Owned Brands Awards. What year were they established? And
You started your agency in 2020.
No.
2017.
No, let me give you the options.
Okay, give me the options.
Yeah. Was it 2019?
Yeah.
2020?
Yeah.
Or 2022?
It's not 2020 because you started your agency in 2020.
Yes.
Okay, so
correct.
that's eliminated.
Out.
You said the other option was 2019.
Yes, 2019, 2020, or 2022.
I don't think it's only running for 2 years. I feel like it's running for longer. I feel like it's 2019. Is it also wrong? It's running for longer.
You get us like...
Is it 2022?
2022.
Really? It feels like it's been around for much longer.
Yeah, that's how powerful the brand is.
You've turned it into something massive in 2 years. That's impressive.
Yeah. So
Okay.
actually, I thought you would remember because Godi, that's his,
That's when he won.
Yes, that's when he won.
He
and that's
won.
when we started.
Oh, I didn't know it was your first year.
So
That's
that-
impressive.
So that was our first year. Okay, cool. Let's go back to, which African luxury brand?
African.
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, let me say South African luxury brand, luxury clothing brand.
That just launched in New York recently. Am I-
Why are you being that girl?
Is that the right question?
The question is not the one,
Okay.
but let me carry on.
Mm.
Partner up
Mm.
with another South African luxury brand.
Hmm.
The brand is called Field Bar.
That's a really cool brand.
Yes, Field Bar from Cape Town.
Mm.
So they made straps for the
Was it Matkosa?
girl. You forward.
Is it them?
You get a pass.
It is Matkosa because I saw recently they have a very... Firstly, they launched, I think, in New York recently.
Uh-huh.
I think they opened their first store.
So did you own a Makosa piece? Like the way it's like you are a fan.
I'm a fan.
Even I said African luxury, like Makosa.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
a huge fan.
Gotcha.
I am a huge fan of
That's
the clothes. They also launched a collaboration with Yoko a few
Yes,
years
yes,
ago.
they did the Yoko, they did Tanqueray.
Yeah,
I saw just recently they did something with Tresemme.
they're amazing.
Tresemme.
No, they're a phenomenal South African luxury brand
No,
for sure.
absolutely.
If I get to work with them one day, it would be an honor.
Wow. Latuma, hope you're watching
Yeah.
you're watching this show. Brownwyn is open to work for Max Hoser.
He defos.
Okay, cool. How many countries?
Oof. Geography. This is a marketing podcast, Pat.
It is.
Don't test my geography.
How many countries in Africa
Uh,
does Legends Baba have a footprint?
so firstly, I love Sheldon. I love his journey, so I know exactly.
Let me give you the options.
Okay, I know exactly who you're talking about. He's
Yeah.
phenomenal. He's just recently launched with Diskim, I think, as well.
Yeah, no, I mean,
He's-
he's a legend. He was sitting on that chair
Really?
at the start of this year,
He's phenomenal.
and it's just amazing how, if I were to compare that time
Mm,
when he was here and where he is now in terms of his stature as an entrepreneur,
Totally.
in terms of his accomplishments as an entrepreneur, it's absolutely remarkable.
I agree.
Yeah.
He's an inspiration in South Africa.
He is an inspiration to many,
Hmm.
including me.
That's amazing. I can understand why.
So how many?
How many African countries?
Yes.
Okay. And you said you were going to give me options.
Yes, let me give you options.
That's the first one's wrong.
20. Is it 20 African countries?
No. Yeah.
Is it 10 African countries or 5?
5.
Are you sure?
I feel like I'm sure. It's probably going to be some of the
You
SADC.
can still change your answer.
No, I feel like it's some of the SADC countries.
Do you want a name?
Like, I mean, if you're talking about the cusp, BLNE, as an example, so Botswana, Lesotho, Namibia, Swatini, I would assume with South Africa, it's definitely not 20. Or maybe, well, I'm saying definitely.
You get a pass.
5.
Brownwyn, you've been a great sport.
Thank you.
Thank
Pat.
you so much for your generosity and time, but also your knowledge.
Thank you.
I think I am a better marketer after this episode. Any parting shots? Where can people catch you? What message really do you want to drive home to the broader, South African community and maybe particularly marketing people?
I think, so firstly, thank you for having me on your podcast. I think it's a privilege for me to be here today.
Thank you.
I think that in terms of what my message would be to South African marketers is you pretty much do create a path for young marketers. I mean, what you've done in your career specifically is phenomenal.
Yeah.
So, and what you've, I think, taught South Africans is there's no such thing as no for an answer.
Got you.
If there is a no, I'm going to create my own.
100%.
So let's not look at the big brands as the only place in which you can get
Draw
your
inspiration.
stripes and draw inspiration from, because
there
there are lots of places. And I draw inspiration from everyday things.
Got you.
Like music videos, just watching a music video.
You still watch music videos?
I love music
Are you
videos.
serious?
Love watching music videos.
I haven't watched a music video in a
Oh
long time.
my word, I absolutely love I love big inspiration for music videos.
Wow.
Also, just like reading
What's your
people's
current favorite
stories.
music video?
So one of my music videos that inspire me are always the ones that from a direct treatment point of view make sense for maybe a future ad that I want to shoot.
Sure.
Right? So there's this music video that John Legend did. All she wants to do is dance.
Wow.
Right? Where the dancers are auditioning.
Mm-hmm.
They think that they're auditioning. They're being recorded to audition to be in his music video.
Uh-huh.
However, as they're putting their best foot forward and they're dancing, they're doing amazing things.
Yeah.
The wall lifts up and it's John Legend singing. They're already in the music video.
Wow.
So that just like to get that authentic,
absolutely.
reaction
yes.
is anything that gives me a little bit of a smile.
Got you.
Those are the kinds of things that I'm like, ooh, that's interesting. So I take inspiration from conversations with my husband to just seeing what other brands are doing or just to listen to my kids sometime who are 6 and 4 and the random things that they say. So inspiration is drawn from many different places. So to your career and what you've done with your career.
Yeah.
I mean, we had a conversation offline around the fact that you don't have any ex this or ex that. It thinks back to my LinkedIn, which is ex-Shoprite, ex-Capitec, ex.
Yeah.
But what you've done in itself is inspirational.
Got you.
So thank you to people like you that are,
You're gonna make me cry.
don't cry. We're not getting emotional here.
This is not the
not that kind of podcast. But thanks to people like you that are trailblazing.
Got you.
And creating your destiny yourself, And if I can give any word of advice to young marketers out there, it's don't wait for the opportunities. Create your own opportunities.
Got you.
So thank you for the opportunity to be here today.
Yeah.
I'm very excited for what you have to come and who else is going to be in this chair.
Awesome.
And until next time.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And how can people get a hold of you?
Oh, yes, they can follow me on LinkedIn. Right?
LinkedIn is where it's at, people.
It's where it's at for us old people, not TikTok.
Yeah.
So follow me on LinkedIn, Brownwyn Pretorius, and definitely follow Ackermans and Ackermans social media. There are great things that are coming in the very, very near future in the next 2-3 weeks.
Yeah.
So next time you'll be asking a quiz, who did Ackermans partner with? Which celebrity did Ackermans partner with on your next quiz?
Of course.
So definitely looking forward to connecting with all of the people. And
it should have came after the campaign.
It should have, But you'll see.
We can still do it again.
We can. We
can just focus on that specific campaign.
100%.
And dissect it.
That'll be so much fun. You are going to love it.
And maybe bring one of the people in as well.
For sure.
Just talk about it. Because seldom it happens, in the marketing space whereby you can get to hear from the horse's mouth. What was the thinking behind the thinking that made the campaign?
Definitely.
Oftentimes we see the campaign. I'll read a little bit about it. And it ends there. Because what you want to do with this podcast, as I close, is that we also want it to be sort of to build an archive, that years or generations to come, and people would look back. Who were some of the greatest marketers in the country, or what was the thinking behind campaign X? Who was involved? How did it come about? For example, I think someone's gonna watch this 10 years later and learn about how Godi ended up, being on a Capitec ad, I think that would be cool. And ultimately, we're building a body of knowledge here. You coming here is not just for vibes.
Even though I am vibes.
No, absolutely. It's also for us just to build body of knowledge and work that generations to come can reference.
For sure. And I would be happy to come back after we've launched with the celebrity campaign that's going to be coming out now.
Awesome stuff.
They are a phenomenal people.
Yeah, you can also maybe bring your colleague from an agency.
For sure.
To share their perspective.
100%.
Awesome stuff. LinkedIn, you had it. That's where it's at.
That's where it's at.
Slide in the DMs like I did, and you'll end up with Brownwyn in front of you.
So much fun. Thanks so much, Pat.
Thank you. All right, everybody. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. And share this episode if you found it invaluable or if you learned something. For me, Pat Mahlangu ngiti inagaila le.
Pat. It's Pat on Brands. Watch how you branded, man. A pat on the back is a pat from the man. Better be branded, man. A pat from the pat is a pat on the